Hello everyone, today is the topic of carpal tunnel syndrome. What does the word mean carpal? Carpal, which means bones of the wrist, and what does the word mean tunnel? Tunnel, the underground passageway basically. This is a passageway. So what does the word mean carpal tunnel syndrome? Carpal tunnel syndrome is basically the compression of median nerve. In arm, we have radial nerve, ulnar nerve and median nerve. When we have the compression on median nerve, this is called the carpal tunnel syndrome. It is a syndrome in which we have depression on the median nerve, and median nerve which controls the motion of your arm. The median nerve which passes along the length of your arm, that's how median nerve comes from the axilla and inferior margin of teres major muscle. Now the question arises, how the carpal tunnel is formed. It is formed by wrist bones on the bottom and band of tough connective tissues called the transverse carpal ligament. Median nerve which controls the muscles in your palm and control the movement of your thumb. When we are suffering from the carpal tunnel syndrome, we are difficult to handling the object just because of we have suffering from pain in our wrist or in our arm, because the median nerve which controls all the range of motion of your arm. So basically when we are gripping the object, while I am holding this object, so it is difficult for me, even I am not suffering from carpal tunnel syndrome, but in that case, if a person is surviving from carpal tunnel syndrome, so it is difficult to holding the objects just because of the compression on median nerve. And now what are the symptoms of carpal tunnel syndrome? We have pain, numbness, tingling and needle-like sensations in our wrist or in our hand, because median nerve which controls the muscles of our palm and movement of your thumb. If your carpal tunnel syndrome is getting worse, you lose your grip strength and weakens the muscles, your muscles getting shrink, and you feel the severe pain and cramping feeling in your wrist and in your hand. Come to the risk factors of carpal tunnel syndrome. We are surviving from, if we have carpal tunnel syndrome, then we have hypothyroidism and obesity, diabetes, nerve damage, fluid buildup, plus diabetes. Then you feel slower nerve feeling, less sensations in your fingers, and you feel like having very less coordination in your hand, like you cannot coordinate your hands in a proper position while you are using continuously your hand movement during the night with your laptop, and when you wake up with numbness and tingling feelings in your hand, which affect your movements of your hand and which affect the movements of your thumb. While you're driving the car, it affects the movement of your wrist. While you're gripping some objects, it affects the movements of. While you comb your hairs, it is difficult to comb your hairs when you are suffering from carpal tunnel syndrome because of repetitive movement of my hands. If you continuously use your hand in repetitive phenomena, so it is difficult to hold the objects, or you can't do the work in office or late night working. Now, what are the treatments of carpal tunnel? To keep your wrist in neutral position like this. When surgery indicated, if you people suffering from long-term symptoms and you still feel numbness in your hand and still feel tingling sensation and stop the motor working of your hand, which means that you have to go for surgery purpose. And if your doctor recommend the surgery purpose, this is called the carpal tunnel release. What is the meaning of carpal tunnel release? This is the open procedure, which means the incision between your palm and wrist. Incision between your palm and wrist. Then we have to remove the tunnel. And the another procedure is the transverse carpal ligament will cut to release the patient on median nerve, and the incision will be close to the sutures. So basically this is here I describe the causes, treatments and risk factors of carpal tunnel syndrome. Now I am going to draw the diagram how to draw the carpal tunnel syndrome.